Today I'll show you my top 10 small everyday carry knives that I just absolutely cannot live without. And wait till you see number one, because it has a type of steel I've never shown on this channel before. So what do I consider small? Hey, I am glad you asked that, because for this video, it's going to be any knife with a blade length of 3 inches or less, kind of like this Spyderco Native 5. And again, we're doing just only one knife per brand. I think it just keeps things interesting. And then that way, I don't load up the list with a bunch of knives from the same manufacturer. Hey, how you doing? If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. My name is Jay. Go ahead and consider clicking on subscribe if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. All right, how about we kick things off with number 10, the Speed Safe Assisted Opening Kershaw Dividend. This is one of the largest knives that I own with a 3-inch blade, and it's because of that 4 1/4 inch long handle, which I think that's great. I mean, isn't more grip area usually a good thing? It's the discontinued one with the M390 blade, but I'm sure you've seen that newer version. It has that composite blade where half of it is N690 and then the other half is D2. I kind of thought that was a weird choice. It just seems like that they took a step backwards, going from M390 to D2. I mean, especially since they both cost right around $80. But then again, D2 that's pretty much everywhere nowadays. Now, if you're looking for a great slicer, yeah, you've pretty much found it here in the Dividend. Sitting at number 9, I got this little guy from CRKT. It's the Squid. You can say I got both. I have the HCR 13 MOV blade, and then the Blade HQ exclusive one here in the natural G10 scales with the D2 blade. I usually have this one as like a backup or more of like a secondary carry, because I use it to open packages and, for like cutting tape. I don't want to get my main blade all full of like that sticky kind of residue, especially if I'm not at home. I'm away from home and I can't clean it right away. But because that the Squid has a really just a thin build, I think that it's just the perfect knife to go ahead and take the clip off of and then carry it loose in the back pocket, which is exactly what I do with this one. I mean, most of the time, I don't even notice that it's there. At number 8, I've got everyone's buddy, right? This is the Rat 2 Ontario Knife Company. All I'm really going to say about this is that it's practically impossible to make a list of 3-inch blades and not have the Rat 2 on it. It can't be done. I mean, either whether it's in AUS 8 or D2, it doesn't matter, because both are a great value and just like super cheap to replace. Number 7 is a knife that is quickly becoming one of my favorites, and from Victorinox, this is the Pioneer X and A-Lock scales. These Swiss Army knives are great because they're pretty much legal to carry wherever you live, since the blade is under 3 inches, and of course it doesn't lock. Now, maybe this is an example of my own limited brain capacity, but I've carried this Midnight Mini Champ for years, and I'm telling you, I still don't have the tool layout memorized. I have to open just about everything until I can find the main blade. That's not the case here with the Pioneer X. I can find the main blade without even looking. And it's a heck of a lot easier to open than the rest of the tools. Yeah, the walk and talk on the blade is not as stiff as everything else. Number 6, I've got the USA made Buck Ranger 112. If you live somewhere that has restrictions on automatics, hey, guess what? The manual version works just as good here too. I mean, other than the price and the materials and, of course, how you open it. I mean, both versions are exactly the same. Unfortunately, they're both heavy. Yeah, right around 6 ounces. Now, I'm not really into like wearing the sheath, especially since I know, okay, my brothers would make fun of me, as soon as they see that hanging off my belt. So what I went ahead and did was I just made my own little leather pocket sheath with a clip. I got this clip off of Amazon for a couple bucks, and notice there's no like stitching or anything. That's because I use Gorilla Glue. Yeah, really easy to do. Number 5 is a knife that we just can't seem to get away from. It's the Elementum from CIVIVI. I've tried out almost every version of the Elementum except for that one with the shredded carbon fiber, and I was finally able to get my hands on this one in ebony wood, which I gotta admit, it feels way different than all of the others. And as you can see, I mean, it looks good. It looks really good, but there's no traction, which is, it's one of the reasons I like the micarta the most. And if you're looking to like get your hands on an S35 VN version, Blade HQ, okay, they currently have them in stock with that. They have the natural G10 scales. Number 4, the Knifeworks Exclusive. What do you call it? The Hogue Ritter Hogue? Either way, it's the mini. How about it though? This knife has gone a really long way since Benchmade went ahead and discontinued it. But hey, Hogue, they wisely picked up the design and they went ahead and have released it in a couple of different handle colors, blade finishes, and of course this mini one. Still, I got to tell you, it's a great deal for a blade with 20 CV steel. I know that you can get these in like black and tan, but one version that I keep hoping to see is a one with a black blade, okay, and OD green scales. Now tell me that wouldn't be absolutely amazing. All right, looking real nice at number 3. This is the Steel Will Mini Cut Jack. When a knife is offered in like 2 different sizes and blade steels like this one, D2 and M390, I usually prefer the larger, more expensive version. But honestly, that's not the case here. The mini D2 just fits. Man, does this fit in my hand perfectly. I mean, other than the blade steel, there is one little compromise with the cheaper version, and it's going to be the closing action. Since the blade is riding on bronze washers, this is not really much of a fidget knife, but hey, that's okay. Because the lower price tag here, I mean, you can get these for around $40, $38, $40. That kind of, to me anyway, that kind of makes up for that. Number 2 is a knife that just breaks my heart because Benchmade recently discontinued it. Yeah, this is the Mini Freakin' S30V. I'm still just shocked that Benchmade went ahead and discontinued this and the full size in S30V. I really thought that these were popular and that they'd be around forever. I really like this mini one here because of its 4.1 inch handle, and it's big enough to fit all of my fingers with my medium sized hand. And as of right now, I don't have any plans on buying the S90V and carbon fiber version because, come on, $260? That's a bit much. All right, are you ready to see number 1? Now, make sure that you watch the 2 recommended videos that will be up on the screen at the end. And if you enjoyed this video and you get any value from it, leave one of these, and don't forget to go ahead and click on subscribe. My number one favorite small everyday carry knife that I absolutely cannot live without, from Spyderco, we got the Sage 1. Oh yeah, that's in Maximet. This is just a perfect example of a knife that doesn't need drop shut action to be considered good. Now, the obvious differences between the Sage 1 here and then the Sage 5 is just going to be, well, the lock. I mean, you're looking at liner lock versus compression. And you can probably go ahead and guess, okay, which one's going to be more fun to fidget. So what the heck is the big deal about Maximet? So now, for those of you that don't know, okay, now normally a steel that has a really high HRC, like Maximet does, normally it's going to have higher edge retention, which, yes, Maximet does. But a lot of times you'll see lower toughness. Now, a steel that has a lower HRC, so not going to hold an edge as long, but it will end up being tougher, less likely to chip. The big deal with the Maximet is that it has excellent, wear resistance. And that's going to be like abrasive wear. So resistance from like scratching, and a very high hardness rating, or HRC, all while remaining tough. Not very likely to chip. All right, hey, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care. See you later.